guys, welcome back to the channel. As we enter October 2025, it has been more than 10 months since three of the major guitar magazines have discontinued. For those of you who often subscribe to magazines, you probably know those three are Guitar Techniques, Total Guitar, and Guitar Players. I'm not really into guitar players and also total guitars, but often I would go to a bookstore and buy a Guitar Technique magazine. The one reason is because that you have a lot of different interviews, also different musics, and most importantly, they have different kind of lessons into different types of music, and they sometimes have some awesome musics that it comes with the transcriptions that almost sound as the original. So I really like appreciate that. I mean, there are a lot of materials in one magazines, and I think other than that, it's very difficult to find it nowadays. And it's also very well established. These three guitar magazines, they are at least more than 30 years. So it's quite shocking when they all decided to discontinue, stop publication, or at least in the form of hard copies, starting last November and December. And unfortunately, Guitar Techniques actually discontinued the whole thing at all. You can still buy the older, like the previous copies, but you're probably not gonna able to get the hard copy. You could only get the digitals. So it's quite sad, and it has been 10 months, and I'm still kind of missed this kind of magazines. Of course, there are other types of like books you can actually do, but I kind of like the Guitar Techniques is because it is much more diverse. They have a lot of interviews, and also a lot more detail in like the recent gears, like guitars and so forth. So you have an idea of what the guitar market and also what kind of new stuff that you probably often takes time to research online. You could get all of them in one magazine. Of course, because there's so many things in there, it's actually quite more expensive compared to the other magazines, because I believe it was around 15 to 17 US dollars excluding tax. However, I do find it that it's actually much cheaper if you buy in London, because it was a 1, 8, or 9 quid. So it's about like 10 or 11 USD. So I think it had to do with the export and something. So that's why it's so much cheaper. But if you are living in the US, it is quite expensive. Actually, almost all guitar magazines are quite expensive, at least from 13 to $15 and so forth. And even some of them are 20 something dollars, which is ridiculous because those same copies are so much cheaper in other countries. But anyway, it doesn't matter. Like regardless of what, it's a loss that we lost all these magazines. They are so great. And I understand that nowadays many people go digital, and this is one of the reasons why they lost a lot of subscription, like subscriber, and that's just why they believe it was not profitable enough to issues anymore. So that is quite sad, and I get that. But that's also losing like kind of like the guitar culture that you have, because these magazines is not just only for us to read, you also like a kind of a portal for many new musicians. So now they lost one way to connect to the audience. So it's actually much more difficult for them than for the readers. So that is quite sad. And I also do like a lot of those interviews, which more allow the audience to or readers to know more about these musicians and more into buying their musics and so forth. So again, it's quite sad. But fortunately, there are still other types of guitar magazines. For example, right now I still subscribe to the acoustic guitar magazine. They do have a lot of much more like finger styling technique compared to the other types of magazines, and also I buy the guitar, another guitar magazines. I forgot the name, but they were okay for but I often subscribe them in digital as well because it was also much cheaper. So anyway, what do you guys think? How do you guys see about the loss of the major and well-established magazines last year in November and December? And if you do often buy guitar magazines, what other alternative magazines do you guys buy? And how do you guys think about how useful are these magazines? And now that they are gone, what are the other ways for you guys to get information, especially if you are those people that who don't often buy guitar magazines? So please let me know what you think, and feel free to comment on the comment sections. And in the meantime, I hope you guys have a nice weekend, and I will talk to you guys next time. Thank you. Goodbye.